Yeah, I noticed that too. I'm like, that's right. All right, what's up? Volunteer for everything. Wait for the design. Well, 4 reviews, 4 out of 5.
Oh yeah.
4 out of 5. Very trainers.
Hey, and am I making you guys go nuts? You're live.
Oh, we are. So Megan's on film. It's facing. Is it filming me?
Is it filming me or is it filming the
It's
bookshelf?
filming the bookshelf.
Let me just let Laura know.
There's a wide variety
Okay,
of
does
books
she
we
have
have
the, is
here.
the link? Is that no? Is this the link that Lori would have?
Yeah, I'm gonna. Can you email her? I can't find my phone.
I got it right there. Yeah.
And say, log into YouTube. And I think I already gave her this information before. YouTube channel consult DHA.
Consult DHH.
Yeah.
Does she have the password?
You don't need a password.
No password.
Yeah.
This is just live on YouTube.
This should.
How many people are watching this right now? Nobody's watching us. It says
Well,
0.
we just don't know. Nobody likes it yet.
Nobody likes it yet.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought sometimes I could tell you.
Our video.
I wonder if I should go. I think I might pop to the bathroom. I know.
Oh, it's a whiteboard table.
Oh, that's right. The YouTube's not.
It's a whiteboard table.
I know I asked you guys to be back for lunch.
For writing on the table. IBRs in my favorite color. Purple. My son's class has these tables. They are amazing. One of my friends is a teacher. She somehow got funding. So my son's class has them in pods, and then they have whiteboard like for paper that goes over the desk to change it into a whiteboard, and it's removable. Yeah, it's so cool. Yeah, and it just wipes off. One by six. I haven't actually. Oh, it is. Neither have I. I just realized the side of my those are the actually they're different ones, similar, or maybe a different year, but they're very similar. I got mine this year.
Oh, mine are like 3 years old.
Okay, so you for the other version, but I got the sister version. Dated model.
Okay, are you ready for schmoz?
I saw it when I couldn't resist.
Okay. As soon as
What's that? I'll just end up watching myself. So I'll be like, oh, that's what I look like.
It's a little different.
Wait a second. Oh, you need a haircut.
Did anyone? No one liked it yet.
No one's liked it. I
It's all
don't.
those legs, people.
We will like it. You would think it would say people.
Oh yeah. No one's watching right over here. We're just talking to ourselves.
Like for deafblind, oh, yeah, so that's that specific role for deafblind.
This is James. Oh, this is not.
No, I think
James.
it's just broadcast.
Like it's live and then it would be gone from comments.
I'm scratching my head because I'm just going, okay, I'm still having some trouble with, we're having trouble with technology still. Because one cord doesn't charge up the computer that actually has
So
the
where's
internet.
the interveners?
So,
I've got it working.
woo. Okay, so if you can do that go-to meeting piece, so what the plan kind of was, is
Do you need a board?
we'll
A
kind of
note
chat
taker? I can take
around
notes.
Yeah, you
on
can
here.
take notes on
chat
this?
with BCSD
Yes, I can.
staff.
Perfect. The whiteboard one, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
And
Pull up a chair.
there's just little agenda items, we just kind of, again, want to get some feedback, see what you're thinking, we've got a couple of questions to address, or not address, just kind of the chat. We won't live stream the BCSD.
Do we have to have the video in here?
It's right there, yeah. It's watching us.
Yeah, it's
Interpreters are gonna be right here, and then I think if there is.
I found a drawer with markers.
BCSD, you can probably stay right where you're sitting.
Anyone else
because
want for
as you're
markers?
signing,
Markers? This is a whiteboard table. You know how we like to take notes.
Wow.
you're signing and you're signing with our voices.
It's only live, it's not recording, it's just live.
Just right there. And then classroom EAs
there was coming
and,
I just migrated.
To
This
an
is the right.
intervener?
we'll go way over
That's
there.
right, you migrated to the right place.
So, we'll go over there.
Wait a second, I recognize you.
You're
Dinah. Yes, come on in.
Okay, I wasn't sure.
This is the one, absolutely.
Or before you do kind of move over, if you guys need to move to a different spot.
You know, we like to
The streamers.
You got like this table.
Classroom,
I don't know if we need this like right there, can't we put it like diagonal so it's out of the way?
little piece for that, but I'll tell you later, I'm gonna actually film it with my
There's no people on.
camera and then. So,
They can
I
just
think
hear me.
what we'll do
Yes,
here
that's
is
right.
actually wrap this up.
Thankfully, it's not
Before you
recording,
guys
it's
get
only
started,
live streaming.
sorry.
Just
So
because
it's
each group will end differently,
It's okay.
because.
There's no
you know,
face to
I
go
know
with the
Alana has
voice.
to get back down to Cada, and different people will be sliding in and out.
If my
So
hair
I think at
accidentally
this
like
point, I just
fluffed
wanna
up
say thank you
near
for
the
coming.
camera,
It's all good.
I really appreciate your patience and the such, and as I had mentioned earlier, we'll see how it can look next year. Whether we can do the lunch, we'll let you know if we can or can't, but I know, well, actually, I know you came for the Subway sandwiches, admit it, right? You came for the Subway, but just as an expectation, next year it is Friday, October 18th, because we know that's when the Mitchell Day is.
Your student's name
And
is,
so
begins with
we have
E?
kind of talked a little bit already amongst our little group.
It's just we're live, so I don't wanna
Jessica
see it.
from, our band is an event planner, so
she's really good with that
volunteers.
confidentiality part.
Yeah.
She's an interpreter and event planner.
We learned
and so
that from
she's
her.
volunteered to help us out,
Right?
so I think we'll
Well, I will point it out,
good shape
it's important,
next year.
especially this.
So,
Usually like
thanks
if
for
we're, if
coming.
we were in a
Look for a
class,
quick
like
little
an
survey,
on-site class,
and
I
then
would
once
mention
you're in your
names,
spots,
cause
when your group is
we have
kind of
code of
done,
confidentiality within the rooms,
we'll
but
say
we are being
thank you and see you later.
So, if you're gonna use your student's name, right, and just
You know
like
where you're going?
me or whatever, you know, initial or my student,
I would just
right?
use my student,
Yeah, my
yeah.
student, yeah.
We are being live streamed, so for confidentiality, you can use your initial.
Yes.
What's her name?
Mia?
Is Elena.
No, I think she's gonna come take that. I think her name was Mia.
I don't mind her.
Hello to all your friends. Thanks for having
Oh, Megan's coming in. So the camera's that way.
Yeah, we're all. But you can actually probably turn it. You can maybe be, either of you can be like the turners, the camera turner.
I got the power.
And I just wanna, oh, good. Hi, Shauna, you made it on.
Oh, there is someone
So
there.
there's Sean. Can you hear us, Sean?
Nod once for yes, twice for no. Always wanted to say that.
Sean, can you
Here's my
hear?
hand because it doesn't go quite that far.
Okay.
Aw, shucks.
Ah,
And then there's Rispa joining us way back here.
Oh, Riz was here.
Oh, 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 oh.
man, I don't think I've ever been this many.
I know, right?
In BC?
Yeah.
Three GVC drives
That's right.
Oh yeah, in one room.
in one room.
What?
Okay, now I'm curious, what year? Here's the
they're all
quiz.
different.
2000 millennial.
Oh, okay. She's busy talking. What year were you
I'm gonna say she was.
So here's a spot for
for
you.
graduating
I
GB?
was just trying to see if I could get go to.
You're saying 2009.
2009?
She's after.
She's just after you, yeah.
I'm gonna say she was.
I don't think so.
3 years ago.
Yeah.
We're back to she's been in that position for 3 years, so
No.
2 years. Okay, but she was here for a year, I think, before. Back, so
So about 3 years.
2015. What year did you graduate?
2016.
2016. Okay,
Yes.
there you go. 2 years. Perfect. Good job. Hi. Okay. My name's Alana Pierce. I'm the coordinator and also teacher consultant with the Deaf-Blind Outreach Program. This is my colleague Megan. Megan's also a teacher consultant with the Pop TV. And I'd also like to introduce Rachel. Rachel is the Surrey School District intervener. And so, anyway, so we're the ones hosting this little in-service. So I know, I think everybody, almost everybody here, a couple new people for me. But I thought, you know, why don't we just kind of go around, just introduce yourself, first name. We are broadcasting, so don't worry about your last name. But just hi, and maybe what district you work in. Okay, so start with Rizpa. You're new. You get to go first.
And the camera's up.
Oh, you're eating too. Wait, okay, hang on. We'll switch. Start with Heather. We're coming back to you.
Hi, I'm Heather. I work in a high school with a young man. It's a great pleasure to work with.
Cool.
Well, I work in elementary school.
Okay. And you're also, you both are Surrey.
Surrey, yeah.
School District. Okay.
Sorry.
I'm Megan, and I work in Surrey in elementary school.
Okay.
And I'm Donna, and I'm not sure if I'm...
Hang on a second.
Yeah, Donna Solly.
Right. Okay. Yep.
And I actually work with BCSD, so I wasn't sure which group to go
Yep.
to. Intervene. Yeah, so unfortunately
You're
we don't
Donna.
get to.
Nope. That's good. We used to support the student you are currently supporting. And Megan knows her really, really well too. Because she used to work with her at home.
Oh.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
I'm Jenny. I work with Burnaby School District.
Okay.
Hi, I'm Carrie. I work for Burnaby School District in high school.
Hi, I'm Diana. I work for School District 42, Maple Ridge, in elementary school. I'm Rachel, and I'm from Surrey School District.
I'm Mia. I don't currently work with deaf-blind students.
So you'll be going to school?
The kid I'm working with.
Oh, okay. So you're working with a preschool student? Okay, nice to meet you. Oh yeah, Megan. Alana. There you go.
I'm really close up. Hi, I'm Jolene from the Surrey School District. Behind me, you can see kind of a hand waving. That's Kelly from the Surrey School District as well.
Okay,
And we got-
another person over here.
Hi, I'm Keely. I work in Chilliwack School District.
Okay, nice to meet you. It's really it's neat to put faces and names together. You know, names I've heard. Like just this morning I heard your name, and like, oh, this Donna works with this girl here, and then and your name, Huey, you've come up from Wendy Bird several times.
Yes.
Wendy Johnson, Wendy Bird,
Wendy
Johnson Bird. I always say that the wrong way. Yeah,
see
so
what
it's
the
nice to
camera is.
put faces and names and stuff with people. Cool. And so who's okay? So the way I thought we would do this session, this is a networking conference or networking day. So I thought we would take this time to one of two things. I thought what we could do is if people would like to share, like something celebratory, something that's going on that you would like to share with anybody, because this is the group that would appreciate it, right? Because we all know the how difficult your job can be at times, or if your student has just recently, you know, done something that where you're kind of like, yay, I'd like to spread the news. Please, I thought this might be a good time to do that. Does anybody have anything they'd like to share? Oh, go for it.
I'm going to share something really exciting. I'm working with a student who lives out of district, so she flies in and out on the weekends, and was home with her mom. summer. And it was really fantastic during an intake interview, which we had to do with FaceTime, it was just a cell phone with an interpreter. So it was great to applaud the mom and the student, because I said in the first time in over 20 years of working at the School for the Deaf, I saw a student go home in June and come back in September with more language and more maturity living in a very small town. So
Wow.
so it's really exciting to work
Yeah.
with a mom who is just so dedicated and involved with her.
Wow.
So it's awesome.
That's wonderful.
And a brilliant child.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's great. That's definitely that's something definitely to share. Does anybody have anything else that they would like to share?
My name's Carrie. I went from elementary to high school this year. So there was a break over the summer, and it turns out that the student went from a previous school to another school. I was new to the area and had 1 year to learn about the student, but I also had to transfer with them. So that was a neat experience. September came, and it's a new school, so there's chaos. It's still a new school with not all access to running, and needing of electronics such as iPads and Wi-Fi is not actually a capability yet in the school. And Boardmaker, one little simple thing that we don't think we use, we do use it. And then having classes that are in the mainstream where inclusion in Burnaby is very, very important, as I'm sure it is in every school district, but it's just a different atmosphere for myself.
Yeah.
But as an intervener working in there, we just grabbed it and ran with it, and we started classes and learned some things and kept on the way, and now 6 weeks in we're realizing, oh, okay, we need to take about 5-10 steps back and re-look at the whole avenue of how we've entered into this picture. So we've had classes, and this school is semestered, and they have an experience block, I guess you want to call it, where they experience quarter 1, quarter 2, quarter 3, quarter 4. So it's 5-week blocks of 4 different classes, and knowing our students, and then knowing a typical student in a situation would just run with it, and that's the way life goes, and everything else is fine. But knowing our students, we started this class, thought everything is great, not realizing that more of a transition time needed between those other classes. And a student came to school with some difficulties, and didn't realize that he was trying to express to us that he missed the past class.
And which class was it?
It was sewing.
Oh, okay.
And we were on the machine, sewing with the machine, hand over hand.
And he was missing that one.
He was, and we
Yeah.
didn't know, we didn't clue into that. And then we had gone into a foods class, and you have to learn theory in foods. When you're in elementary, it's just usually 1-on-1, 1-on-3, working in this small environment. And I guess you take for granted, but you're using your skills and your acknowledgements, and you're informing, and it just ends up being that we had all that but needed more.
Yeah.
And so the student explained to us that he missed sewing, and I was really impressed with him.
Yes.
It was like a proud mom moment, and in my sense a proud intervener moment. And now so instead of doing a workshop class, we're going to go back to the same classes and do them over again.
Perfect.
So he'll be able to do different things, but still continue with the skill he just learned,
Yes.
and continue with it a little bit more.
And things
So-
he likes too,
Yes.
right? He's enjoying?
Oh, absolutely, and being open with the staff, the admin specifically, and then the teachers, and the teachers supporting you in your role, because you go from elementary, which is a solitary role, essentially.
Yeah.
You work with admin, you work with a teacher, but it's really solitary. You don't switch classes, you don't have that atmosphere of going from class to class to class.
Yeah.
Now the situation is there's parent, admin, 4 different teachers plus 1 extra.
Yeah.
And you have to acquire all those classes and make them work in a very small chunk of time. And then this is where you realize that you have either less time to acknowledge things or more time to acknowledge things, or where you need more time to explain other things. It's in elementary, you have that time to take with the student and actually sit down with them, explain in more detail. But when you're in a typical class in high school, it's a whole different ballgame. It's a teacher lecturing in a so to speak way at a class, and yes, it's different because it's more project based, but it's a matter of fact that the teacher has to run with the class speed. They can't just go solitary with you or give you that space. And I was going with class speed and it was just way too fast.
Yes.
And I'm like, well, we're lost. So we needed to stop, rethink everything.
Yes.
And take chunks of it and make it work.
Yes.
And so now that we've had 6 weeks in, we're able to realize where we started and where we're going to and a goal to get to.
Good.
So it's a matter of start to finish and that goal in between.
Yeah.
And being that it's semestered, you have to actually, in the elementary, if you're going from, like this is something I've learned just on the fly, but when you're in elementary, if you're going into a high school with a student, know that you need to do planning probably 3 to 5 months beforehand, talking about semesters if the school is semestered, talking about avenues of you're not going to be in only one class, you're going to be in 5 or 4 different classes. You're going to have a lunch break that you may not be with your friends, you may be with someone different, or you may be at a table with your friends. Or there's a cafeteria you can buy from, or there's different washrooms in the school, you don't have to use the same one. Or acknowledgement of not every class has the same people in it.
Yes.
Those are all big things that going from the elementary to the high school aspect as an intervener, that it overwhelmed the situation.
Right.
And so as an intervener, I was going and thinking academia and concepts, but didn't look at the whole picture as I need to explain about friends, I need to explain about lockers, bathrooms, hallways, new building, all of these different avenues. And it took 6 weeks of actually immersing ourselves into that situation to go, this is now where we have to go, and it's not the same area as we planned.
Yes.
So,
That's good.
I'm sorry if I spoke too fast. So yeah, it's just, it's a real eye-opener to going from elementary to high school.
Yeah.
And know that when someone says transition, you really need to take that time with the student and the admin or the teachers that are supporting the student.
Yes.
And PopDB and everything, and not just do it on the fly at the end of the year. It really needs to start like January.
Well, it
in
was tough in your
concepts.
situation too, because the school was still being constructed at the
In
same
that
time when they
sense,
were
yeah.
doing the transition, so
But
it was.
talking about classes.
Oh, okay, yes.
Talking about classes, talking about different atmosphere,
Right,
like kids
yeah.
not being in the same class as you.
Yes.
You're gonna meet different
You need to
people.
make new friends, yeah.
Even location from class to class,
Yes.
the amount of time it's going to take you to get there,
Yes.
and navigating that large amount of student body that you're not used to.
Yes.
You know,
Yes.
5 minutes between a class to get from a lower floor to an upper floor
Yeah, it's big.
Yeah.
takes a lot
big.
of time.
It
Yeah.
doesn't take 5
And the stairwell.
Yes.
Yes.
You went from 120 kids to 1,100 to 1,700.
Yes.
That's a huge difference. And at class time, it's not different times they move. It's all at once. So
It's like-
navigating the stairs versus an elevator, which is your best avenue.
Yeah.
Small access, big access, or which route are you
Yeah.
gonna take? So it really, like, it honestly, 6 weeks in has just
Yeah.
come to big bubble of idea of going, wow,
Yes.
where do we
Yes.
go from here?
Yes.
So,
I like
you know,
the,
it might be an idea as well, like if some people have students who are going to be transferring up to high school, take them to the mall at Christmas time. See how well they navigate with all those mounds of people
yeah,
there.
it's a good idea.
Yes.
It's just a totally different feeling.
Yes.
The stress level would be very different.
Yeah.
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 She said the night market. I was
Yeah,
like,
Richmond night market, yeah.
Lots of lights.
That would be. Oh my gosh.
I like how you acknowledged that they need that much more time to learn that huge transition. I mean, it's just, it's
Yeah.
elementary to high school.
I
Like,
know, but we didn't take
and-
that until 6 weeks in now.
Yeah.
well, a lot
Yeah.
of our
Yeah.
schools, like where we are, our kids don't get placed until sometimes as late as like the end of May. So they don't even get to go and visit, and they might get 1 hour to visit the school.
We had no school to visit.
Yeah, you guys
There was a
being
building,
constructed,
but
yeah.
It was being constructed.
school?
It's brand new.
Brand new,
And,
yeah.
Yeah.
So the week before, I contacted
Yeah.
the parents and the student, and we were supposed to go in. I ended up only meeting the parents because we had to sign a waiver and no minor children were allowed in there. So we walked into this building,
Yeah.
hard hats, big cherry pickers, and I'm like, school starting on Tuesday? I think there's a problem here. And when we walked into the class on Tuesday, I had to ask the parents to like, hold back, it's not safe.
That was the one in
Um,
Surrey, right?
No, in
No.
Burnaby.
Oh.
And it's not so much that it wasn't a safe environment because the students were in there, but boxes, buildings, ladders, stripes, white poles that you can't see because it's just a blur of people coming at you.
Yeah.
Not acknowledging using your cane in a building, and
Yeah, so that's something he didn't do.
no,
In his
using a
old school,
cane
he
in the
never used
building
his cane in there.
beforehand,
Yeah.
and now we're using a cane in the building because that pole is new, and when you've got 1,100 students going in and changing classes, where's that pole? You don't know. So identify and use, and
Yes.
independence and maturity.
Is he using his cane for independence at the school?
Absolutely.
Good.
Cane work has developed wonderfully.
Excellent.
And comparison to last year, 100% better.
Wow.
But looking at this whole picture of how we transition is, it needs to really be written into your ideas of where you need to go, the goals, the classes. I was asking probably since April about what classes this student would be in, and they all kept saying, you know, we don't have the class schedule yet, we don't know where they'll be yet, and all these different things. And, you know, I got the schedule on June 28th. I didn't have a student anymore. So how am I supposed to prepare a student when I don't have that information already? And so went from a high anxiety state to, okay, well, we're gonna have to run with this. And then getting there going, oh, how are we going to do this? And then going, okay, let's stop, rethink, and do. And now the student's great. The student is transitioning well, but acknowledging the differences in transition and the different types of classes. Yes, you cook at home. Yes, you cooked in elementary. How is it cooking in high school with 18 other students in a small kitchen that you have to be for yourself and your pod family, and understanding all the concepts of even just washing dishes?
And the noise in just that room alone too, because you've got,
Yes, there's
Yeah.
actually we have, thank goodness we have a great class,
Okay.
but it's just the atmosphere, and we don't, as hearing sighted people or as different abilities in itself, walking into a kitchen, we think we're going in there to cook.
Yeah.
That's what a kitchen's for. But not thinking of, we naturally learned our safety skills, you know, from watching our moms and dads, or grandparents, and all these different things we take for granted. And you just have to like rethink it all and go, okay, so going in, we have to teach safety.
Yeah.
Then we have to acknowledge and see if they understand the safety part of it, and then they have to give it back to you.
Right.
Or
And
the teacher.
respecting other kids who are in there cooking at the same time. You can't just nose in and
Yes, you can.
butt into somebody else's cookies or something.
No, and I mean, at home, who doesn't lick the cookie bowl? Come on, show your hands. Who doesn't lick the cookie bowl? See, they're all lying. So, making cookies, we think is a very simple, fun thing to do, right? The cookie dough is amazing. But at home, you could lick your own cookie bowl. At school, you can't, because it's other people's too. But
It's cookie dough.
it's cookie dough, right? Like, we have to do this. We just can't.
And
So
also your home ec teacher is gonna tell you off for eating raw egg.
Yes.
that's really what
Yes.
happened, but then we had a side talk. It's all good. But
It's what builds up the immune system in the long run,
if we
right?
were in the Americas, then fine, it's a problem. But here in Canada, we're safe.
As long as there's a spoon, it's good.
There was no spoon involved. So, licking the cookie bowl is not accepted. Going other ways in the cookie bowl at home, fine. Here, no, not fine. So those are simple things that we don't take
Yeah.
into action that might happen or might not happen.
Yeah.
And
Concept development, really.
or
Right?
the intervener.
Like how specific the concept
Oh.
development needs to be, right?
Like,
Understanding the rule on
this,
something, right?
this is a recipe and this is what I got and said that's what we're doing on Tuesday. And I was like, Tuesday's tomorrow. I mean, are you serious? We're cooking tomorrow, like not last week prep time. So I've already asked the teachers for next semester if they have a package. I want it now,
Yes.
so I can photocopy it and get it all done and organized.
It's
Yeah.
pretty good for high school
And-
to actually let you know that far in advance.
For what?
High school.
Yeah.
They don't always know exactly all the time. what
You,
they're
you get it
doing.
the day before?
Yeah.
I did get it the day before,
Like, that's pretty
and
good.
This is where you have to build
that
relationships
typical?
with people. You gotta,
you've got to
it's-
step out of your comfort zone.
Yeah,
If you're
it's-
shy in any way, I'm okay. So I sound like a blabbermouth, but I'm all with people that I know. In the public, it's a very different situation. I call myself the team of one or two, but you have to become a bigger team, and they get overwhelmed with how many people go into your environment. When you're jumping into like an access team or a pre-employment team or an elementary team, they're all over the place when it comes to, oh, how many people are coming to your IEP? We have 2. No, we have 18. What? There's
Yeah.
18. Yeah, accepted, move on.
Who has a small IEP team? Does anybody have a small IEP team?
Yeah.
Quantify small.
I
Yeah.
don't know.
Yeah.
Like,
Under
three,
10?
Under 10, yeah.
5 and under.
Yeah.
So some people have 18. I had 18 for my students, so what?
Yeah.
Big deal, So it's just a matter of even those little things can build up and make everything better or bigger or acknowledged. But like, ask your teachers prior.
Yeah.
Try to find out the teachers. Go to the admin, become their best friends. Not really, but try to. And talk to them to make sure things are open, because you can absolutely become lost in that big shuffle and overwhelmed and
Very much so.
underappreciated, and you do a lot. You do a lot for your students. Every one of you do a lot.
This
So-
kind of speaks to the role of public relations, right? A lot of you guys have taken courses, and
Yeah.
especially the first couple courses, we really kind of keep coming back to, you're in public relations now. As much as you maybe don't think you are, you are. So I'm just, what are some of the other things that you might have, like, has anybody ever been in a situation where you've had to explain, or your public relations? Is there anything that, I know you guys have.
We have, but thinking, but thinking of the specific examples are harder, yeah.
Let's
Okay,
try-
like horseback riding.
Oh, horseback riding.
Well, trying to get people to understand that they are more capable than what
Yes.
they think they're going to be.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Taking a little risk.
yes.
And pushing.
Hmm.
So
Not just pushing the students,
it's
pushing,
pushing the adults more so than the students.
right,
Because
Advocating.
yeah.
yes.
Yeah.
Advocating, that's a good word,
Advocating.
thanks.
I found, say with my students, set the bar a little higher.
Yeah.
Because then they will.
Well, he can meet your student has always shown that he can meet the bar when you.
I think
You
if you
put
lower
it-
the bar sometimes, some of the kids will say, okay, that's only as far as you really want me to go, or you think that's all I can do. Set it really high, and they will get there faster than what you think.
Yes.
So, but you do have to deal with a lot of different people from a lot of different angles, and say, give us a chance.
Yes.
We'll prove that we are good. We can do it.
You showed me a video, was it last year or the year before, of your student when he learned how to separate colors? Because when I sort of first stepped in as a teacher consultant with you and your student, just getting him to fold. Because he had one of his he has a job at the school, which was he would do some of the laundry for the PE department. And he would, well, you should tell it.
So it started out when he came to high school. We were, as time goes on, we try to teach a few more life skills, so that it can be transferred to home or whatever adult program they might end up in. And apparently he does nothing at home, doesn't help. So we decided we were going to do laundry. Laundry is a very functional activity for everybody. Everybody has to do it. It never disappears. So we hooked up with our PE department, and they gave us the task of doing the pennies for the PEs. So we would bring them all down on a Monday. It'd take us all day doing laundry, but we started out with just 2 colors, first of all, separated. So we'd have 2 baskets on the floor, and he would sit there and, yes, it's the same, no, it's different, and he would sit there and we would go through them all. He caught on quite nicely. So then we were able to start using the washing machine. We put some tactile dots on the washing machine because it's an old style top loader, and went through all the steps, did them really slowly, reinforced all the time that he was getting to the right steps at the right point. Well, this young man now, he can sort colors, he can load the washing machine, put in the detergent, operate the washing machine. When it's finished, he knows it has to go in the dryer, puts everything in the dryer, we'll turn it on, take it out, do the same process depending on how many loads we have, and can fold them all. We use a folding board, but he does a really nice job of it.
Well, and he picked up on colors, right? I remember for a long time, like he had some like table activities where, like sorting, like like his teacher created, like some like the red popsicle stick with the red foam sort of thing.
Yeah.
And for the longest time, like that's made absolutely no sense to him. He would put the purple on the red and the red on the purple.
Yeah.
And probably because you could see it better, right? And so that's when we kind of started the conversation of like, maybe this is just a meaningless activity for him. He doesn't.
Very
It's so.
Yes.
But whereas when you got him doing the laundry, all of a sudden
It clicked.
it clicked, and you showed me a great video where they're videoing and he's like, okay, say the red and the yellow, and then all of a sudden they gave him a blue one, and he goes, oh,
You can see the hesitation.
the hesitation. He created a new one,
Yeah.
right? And it was just sort of that. It was such a neat.
Growth.
Video that
Yeah.
you shared because it shows he's not just doing this mindlessly. There's thought
And he can
happening.
problem solve.
Yes.
So now, luckily, Mum is sending in laundry from home, so it has a little bit more meaning.
Yeah.
Because now it's his clothing, not
Right.
something that's not his.
Very cool. Very cool. Thank you.
And he's been a really great student to show how much other skills that you can learn in an activity that's really meaningful, whether that's horseback riding. Like he has learned so many things in horseback riding or in
Yes.
folding laundry that that wouldn't maybe be seen as a
Helping
typical,
with
but
his own feet.
Yes.
yeah, and I
Yeah,
think just
it's-
even and to see him become a lot more confident and that there's always steps and ways that you're pulling back or challenges that you're kind of throwing at him. I was in there the other day and doing for his feed, his feeding routine.
Oh, gosh,
and
that's
you
a
said
brilliant-
and you said,
that's
oh,
brilliant.
and we added a new step. He has to go get his own
Lunch
lunch
bag,
bag.
yeah.
And so then you waited to see if he would remember. And so he's always a great example, especially for some of our other students, of like how you can, be really involved in a routine and take the slowly pull back at different steps and just help him become take more ownership. And so
Yeah.
I think he did sit there
Sat
and think
for a
about
minute,
it.
and then it's like, oh, there is one step missing.
And
What
you
did I
need one more
forget?
thing.
Oh yes, if I want to eat, I need my lunch kit.
Yeah. So
That's fantastic. Jenny, I'm going to put you on the spot a little bit. You had kind of an interesting thing. We're talking about at lunchtime here. I was asking you how it went. Your student was interviewed for a TV program.
Oh, so recently,
Sorry.
Oh,
Can
yeah.
I interrupt? Can we all just take 2 seats back?
Oh, yes.
So we could all see each other?
Yes. Go for it.
Is that better? Okay.
She's trying to lip read.
Oh, that's right.
It's not working good.
It's okay.
Oh,
I don't, is there anyone on that little person thingy?
What little
Like,
person?
look at the screen. Is there any persons on there?
On this one,
Oh, it says 0 and 0.
that's
So
0
there's
likes.
no one watching us.
No, that's 0 likes and
No,
the
0
person-
people and 0 likes.
oh, the person is 0.
So we're just like.
There isn't
moving this
somebody
camera.
watching.
no,
There's nobody watching.
disappeared.
She disappeared.
Yeah,
Wow.
maybe it wasn't coming through properly.
I guess Lori didn't get on then. Okay.
Sorry.
Look at the camera.
Sorry. So we don't need it?
No.
So
Show the books. Show the books.
show
Yeah,
the
yeah,
books.
show the books.
We're just gonna let it run?
I think, yeah, if anybody shows up, because, I mean, Lori
It's
was.
top heavy.
There was a person before.
Yeah.
Now it's black.
Once in a while, there'll be a person,
Okay,
and then
If I turn it the other way, it's falling.
okay.
Because the camera's top heavy, so it wants to fall backwards.
Yeah, pull the chair. Yeah.
Turn the chair around? Is there any way we just turn it off? Or no?
Well, let's just leave it just in case.
Just
If
in-
somebody shows up and it's like, ah.
Technical difficulties?
Yeah.
Please stand by. Should we?
Yeah, exactly. How hard is this
Collection today.
Isn't that the old style system where you see the colors on the TV? There we go.
I think.
That's like the
Okay.
old TV.
Okay, Jenny.
so lunch. Okay,
Pardon? Yes.
we're talking about lunch. Okay.
Yes.
So when I started working with my student, a year and a bit ago now, it was very much a team effort, right? You know, I go up. He orders his lunch from the cafeteria every day, so you go up, you tell him what was on the menu, and then wait for him to decide, and then it was a 2-person effort to go through the lineup and pick what was on lunch, and then, you know, he had his responsibilities, and I'd be carrying the lunch because there just wasn't enough, we just didn't have enough hands, right, between like the cane and the lunch and the wallet and whatever, right, so it was like, how can we make this a more independent task, because once you're in a high school, everybody spends lunch with their peers, right? You don't have adults wandering around at lunch. So I went off and put together a new lunch kit for him, basically. I had a reusable shopping bag, and I made it short so that he could get his lunch into it, and then I reinforced the bottom so that it's a flat, solid surface. And now he has a choice to use that when he wants to. So like if he wants a hot lunch, he'll take it with him so that he knows that he can carry the hot lunch with one hand and have his wallet or his cane in the other hand, right? And it just allows him to go through the lineup more independently. He doesn't need 4 hands to go through the lineup anymore, right? And now he's just more like one with his peers, right? And he's done it enough times that he knows like what to say to the person at the cashier, and right, he knows like where things are basically in the lineup. Like I'm still there. I'm still there, kind of like in the background, like outside the cafeteria, and I'll look around the lineup and make sure that nothing has changed. Like recently, there was a flaw in our system because one of the coolers broke down and they put the sandwiches on the other end of the line. So like I had to tell him while he was waiting that, okay, if you want want a sandwich, you gotta go down to the other end, right? And he's like, okay, yeah. And then, you know, he was able to find this stuff. But for the most part, he has enough hands now and he can get what he wants at lunch.
Awesome. Good. Misbah, do you have anything? You're brand new.
Yeah.
So is there anything that's kind of burning question or?
I usually go to Jolene for that.
Oh, okay.
But,
Are you at the
um,
same school as Jolene?
Yes,
Okay,
but
so
it
you
was
guys are
very
both at
different for me
St.
when I came in and didn't know Jack at all.
Yeah.
And was just reading about him and then trying to figure out whether his eyes were open
Okay.
or his eyes were closed.
He's really, really good at
Okay.
Yeah,
pretending to
faking.
be asleep.
Yeah.
Fill in the blank. A good intervener is a good Thank
Observer.
you.
So that's what so I did a lot of that and
Good
now
observer, yes. So you're doing
and
a lot of
now,
observing.
so now I've kind of got, I kind of get the gist of when he is like either sleeping or not sleeping, and sometimes when he just doesn't want to be disturbed
Yeah.
or he's faking.
And
But,
he's good at it.
yeah, he's really good at it. And just the movements he makes. Now he's like, I can tell when he's like something and he'll go like that. But then in the beginning, I didn't know if he was just making those movements, you know, just to hear better, or you know, like just so that he's in contact with your face, right? Because being able to see my eyes and my face makes a difference.
And yes, and he doesn't have very good vision, I don't
No.
think. I think I know your student.
Yeah.
At least.
And
on
I'm
paper.
trying to
He's got,
I'm
like,
just
4
at the
visual
bottom.
impairments.
Yeah.
Yeah.
trying to figure out, like, you know, see if he likes this one or that, like, feeling. Because a lot of the things, it is with, like, sense of touch. So that he uses that a lot.
Yes.
And so right now I'm trying to figure out, like, how to get him to, like, what does he like the best? Or what would he like to play with at this time?
That's good. That's good
So
that
he's
you're
able to
Mhm.
let me know, right? But he lets me know with some books.
Okay.
If I'm reading him a book and he's just not interested in that book,
Yeah.
even though I let him, you know, feel the book,
Yeah.
he'll just turn like this. And I'll be like, okay, we'll go to another book, you know, because even if he's not having his glasses on, he's still listening.
Yeah.
So that's very important to remember that he's listening to everything.
Okay.
Like there's sounds in the back that he's listening to. He's like, you know, the teacher's talking, he's listening
Yeah.
to that. So it's made me really aware of that, not just of what he can do, but other things that he can listen to around him.
Right.
And then I should be always talking to him
Yes.
also all the time and letting him
Letting
know
him
what
know.
he's doing.
Yeah.
We take for granted, I get, that we know, okay, yeah, we're gonna be sitting now, but they don't see it that way.
Yeah.
They don't know that they're gonna go onto the mat, so they have to have, like, this is the blanket, which I'm gonna be putting on the mat, and then you're gonna go on the mat. And so all those cues you have to remember
Yes.
before you start it even.
Use your calendar
That-
system.
Yeah,
Yes.
that he needs to know this.
Yes.
Because, and then I started putting myself in his position, because I'd go home and then I get my daughters involved, and I'd just have something to close my eyes with, and they would be coming to me and telling me things or moving me around, and I'll be like, I don't know where I'm going. And
Yeah.
so I got to really experience what it was like.
That's one of the
To be in
is
that.
for your assignment that you did that.
No, I just
I
did
was
that.
gonna say,
Okay.
I don't think she's gotten that far.
Okay.
I told her about that.
Read that assignment. It's under the first week. There's a big paper.
Yeah, I don't think
about
she's
that.
gotten that far.
No,
Yes.
because no,
I was
the
reading that
first
as a
assignment,
surprise.
I'm on that, but I'm just kind of take my time reading it
Okay.
and taking it in and figuring out what answers I can use.
Yep.
To be more
And
precise.
definitely, and talk to Jolene and Kelly. They're both at your school, and they've both
Yeah.
taken intro courses. And Jolene has taken, I would say 7 courses.
6 or 7. of
6 or
them?
7
Yeah.
courses too. So she's taken a number of advanced courses. So these are good people
Oh yeah.
to go and ask them.
But I just
questions.
thought I would do that so I would see what it was
Yes, absolutely. We often do simulations as part of like a lot of our workshops, and actually little bit later on, I was gonna ask you guys to help me brainstorm some stuff around simulations. So we'll kind of get to that. I wanted to jump over here to Diana.
Yes.
Okay, so you're brand new.
Brand new.
Brand new.
This is my
Students in the course as well.
Yeah, this is my second year as an EA.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
Brand new. Brand new.
Oh,
and
I'm
this
in
is
the
my
program.
first year working with a student with deaf blindness. It's very different. Very, very different. What can I say about it? There's so much to say.
Yeah,
mean,
there is. I know.
What do you want to know?
I don't know.
mean,
Just
there's
or
so
how's it
much.
going? How are you feeling? Are you overwhelmed or?
I wasn't at first. I was
Okay.
very like gung-ho about it, and I still really am, and I'm still really learning a lot from my students, and I'm seeing him. I'm seeing him hit milestones. Actually, I'm seeing, and I'm hearing from staff members that have been in the presence of him from last year that
Yeah.
he wasn't doing those things.
Okay, good.
And in the short month, I don't know how long it's been already, I've lost track. 6 weeks of the school year, this is how discombobbled I am. He's already hitting stuff that he's never done before,
Right.
which makes me feel as a newbie, that is awesome.
You're on the right
for
track,
me.
right.
Yeah.
How
and,
old is he?
He's going into grade 8. I'm transitioning
Okay.
with him to
Yeah.
high school. So
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
transition. Yeah. So
Hormonal
I
year.
think-
Yeah, I know,
yeah,
eh?
it's great.
Yeah.
I'm having a great experience with him, and I'm learning a lot of new things. And I have a big team like you
Yeah.
all have, and that's new to me too. And, this is new to me, and I'm just listening to all you guys. I'm like, whoa, you guys are really advanced.
Yeah,
And I'm
I
like,
know.
whoa, I'm not even close to there yet. So it's nice to hear.
It's almost an
everything.
apprenticeship.
And we
because-
never stop asking questions.
Yeah.
We never stop learning. So
There's always something new,
always-
right? Every
Yeah, there
student
is, and each
different.
of our students, one of the things you're gonna find, if we were to ask, what every student's like visual impairment is, what their hearing loss is, I'm gonna guarantee almost every single kid here is different. The combinations of vision loss and hearing losses are so unique in deaf blindness. So what works with a student that Kelly's working with isn't necessarily gonna be what Huey is going to work with, right? You have to, it's so very tailored. Exactly, to the individual. Like we can start somewhere, but then usually things will end up very tailored and very specific to the student that you're supporting. And be an observer. Get to know, like, if your student doesn't have very good vision or reliable vision, like what is he doing with his hands? That might be a way that he's seeing, right?
Mhm.
Are they
I can't
feeling things?
take my eyes off.
I
him
always say,
because
go
I
to
can
the
just-
wall so he knows where he is.
Yeah, we're doing that
It's
now.
very easy, and one of the things I remember years
This
ago.
is the library. Sorry.
Oh, I had a coordinator from a couple of coordinators ago from the Pop TV. She had told me a story that
Somebody
she was
else's,
working with
yeah.
a student
Oh, I know.
that she was working with. She was an intervener. She was not George Brown, but she's from W. Ross, and that she had. She was. I think she was about 18 years old. One of her favorite things to do was sit in the hot tub, and another favorite thing was coffee. And they've tried all sorts of different ways of eliciting a response out of her to, like, to say, like, does she want to sit in the hot tub? Does she want to go for coffee? Like, and they would do things like or even just ask for help. Or, this girl was very kind of passive. And it just happened this one day, somebody was sitting in the hot tub with her and they saw her go like this, under the water. Like meaning, like she'd like a coffee. Well, I mean, she was about 18
So
years old when
neat.
somebody saw that and hopped out immediately, went and got her coffee. I see you want a coffee, let's have a coffee, right? And so you really kind of have to observe our students because they won't necessarily, their eyes might not be telling you what it is, their hearing doesn't necessarily indicate what they're understanding either, but you can look what their hands are doing.
Yeah.
Look to see what their body is doing. Maybe, the student is,
And I
wiggling his toes or something. Like, all of our students are so different,
Yeah.
right?
Like, Rachel's really good when she puts our picks together for us and looking at it from not the height that we are, but getting down to what your individual student is going to see. So if they only have a little bit of lower vision, make sure that if you're trying to show them something, get down to that level and look at it from that level, not your typical level.
Yeah, I'm lying down all the time.
Yeah.
That's why we had everything lower,
Yeah.
blocked off, but not the
Yeah.
higher stuff, because he was down
Yeah,
so
because
low.
they told me, envision yourself wearing a baseball cap.
Yeah, because that was one of his visual field
Yeah.
losses. His whole upper field is gone.
Yeah,
Right.
that's
so,
all he has is this.
For sure.
And then he's got partial on one side,
Yeah.
and then he's got the CDI, and
See those, and get to know your vision and hearing teachers. They'll help you. You had a comment.
Yeah, I don't know if this is universal, but I noticed for a lot of kids with deaf blindness, their signing space is not standard.
Yes.
And so that's when you're saying, like, really watch them, because they might be signing, you know,
Might
like
be
just
signed
down
down here,
here,
down there.
or, you know, and I'm not quite sure, but yeah, it's one of those things. It's just like you always have to have like one eye on what's going on and one eye on at least one of the hands, because often, you know, and if they're an emerging signer or whatever, or if it hasn't been highly motivating, if they're signing something and you miss it or don't react,
yes.
will they sign it again? Maybe not for a long
And that's
time.
exactly one of
So,
those things.
that
If you want to catch it, or even if you think they're kind of approaching something, I would go with it and reinforce it as
Oh,
a way.
absolutely.
Because some of our kids don't know that they can ask in, you know, ways, and we're trying to teach conventional ways so that other people would know. Oh, he's asking for or she's asking for a coffee or something. But you know, definitely shape what you can.
For example, my student, my name sign is this. It's on my hand. And any of you know that because I've told you that. Now, my student calls me this. And if you don't know that, this is not important. He might not even see it. I don't know. But of course I've done tactile, but he still doesn't want to do that motion, and that's okay. He has a way to identify me, and that's
your nickname.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's my nickname.
Blah, 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 blah.
So when I identify myself, I say, I'm Carrie. And he will look for me and he'll be like, and then people know that's my name sign. But like in my subfolder, I have to put that down as
Yeah.
identifying who I am. If they're walking around the school going like this, so it's not someone blabbing, they're looking for me. And, so this is my name for him. And also, he recently went to a light festival in Langley that's called Glow. And he was talking about the lights. Well, this is lights.
Yeah.
Oh no.
Okay,
Up a little.
so we got this and this. And then there's popcorn this week.
Oh, okay.
So we've got this, and this. And the teacher, who I was voicing for my student, the teacher said, how do you know that? Well, I said, he had just recently said, not toot my own horn, I like Carrie. And then he said, I was at the lights and I got special popcorn. And I knew that because I know what's in his lunch. But he was talking about that. And so he was trying to tell me that he went to the light festival the previous night and he had popcorn. And she was like, you didn't get all that. I'm like, oh, I did. It's because I ask questions. And questions in form will lead you to yes and no answers to get more information. And sometimes you have to ask 20 questions to get one answer. But it's about taking that time with your student or finding time with the student, which is what I had to do, was find time to get more knowledge from him, was asking more questions and acknowledging that they may answer with yes and no, but it'll give you a whole gamut of answers to where you're leading or where you've acknowledged or where you're learning.
Yes.
And it's just really interesting because signing space, as you know, can be down here. The student has other abilities and different abilities, and so signing down by their legs sometimes happens. Or Shane adopting a sign to like carry on the leg, you know, oh, he might talk about a dog, but you have to look at the shape of the hand. And your eyes cannot be out straight in that box. As an intervener, we know we do the 12 by 12 box. We're doing that to them, but they don't have to sign to us in that 12 by 12 box. And so our eyes have to be like all over the place, like Google Eyes, to get an answer, and it may take like 15 minutes to get one answer, but it's about acknowledging and watching and learning about that
For sure.
communication aspect of it.
For sure. Huey, do you have I was just gonna say, do you have anything to add or anything you wanted to bring up or celebrations? Exciting. It's nice to meet you finally. I've heard so much about you.
You too. Previous student
No,
that
we've
I
got to
had
point that way, so go.
loved the pictures. And we had the brilliant idea of getting, one of those big kids cameras, because the little camera was too fine. So we thought the big kids cameras that you press the button and then we'd go and plug it into the machine, the computer, and he loved that, absolutely loved that. Well, we were out one day and he stopped and he did something with his hand, I didn't quite see it. And then he stopped again at something else and he did something else, and I thought, what on earth? So I looked closer, he's going like this. He's clicking, like he wanted to take the picture. He's clicking, he wanted me to take a picture, so I finally got it, and we did that every time we stopped, we take a picture of what he wanted to take a picture.
Yeah.
I mean, and it wasn't anything, but it was just like a strange bush or whatever, but it was good.
That's pretty
So
cool.
he loved that.
Yes.
Did it on the computer.
Excellent.
Made a little book for him.
Great example of following the lead.
Pardon?
Great example
Yes,
of following the child's lead. So,
Following his lead.
yeah.
Actually, I did have a moment. I was taking him swimming, and I guess I had splashed all over his face, and I kind of like moved all the water away, and I went next to him, so his cheek was next to mine, and I said, okay, I want you to use your hands, and he grabbed the back of my head and put it to his cheeks, like yes, like he understood what I was saying, and then he started splashing with his hands.
Pretty
But
cool.
every time he
Happy.
wanted me, he
Yeah.
would grab the back, so that I'd come close to him,
Yeah.
which meant he wanted me to either see
Yeah.
what he's doing or acknowledging what I'm saying.
For sure.
Yeah.
I had an interesting moment, a couple moments with a student from last week where I've known him for about 8 years. I've been going up there to see him, and but I don't have as good a relationship with my students like the way you guys do, because I don't see them every day. I see a kid every 6 to 8 weeks sometimes, right? So a lot of times some of my students, they don't kind of remember me from visit to visit. But for whatever reason, he was not having a very good day. He was in a lot of pain, whatever. And so I just kind of thought, I'll just distract him a little bit. And I happened to have a green tea matcha with me. And all of a sudden he was like, oh, what's this? And so he had some tea, a couple sips of my green tea. And I had, so we kind of shared that. And then we went and actually made a pot of like herbal tea. And he chose his mug. We filled the thing up. We turned it on. And, he chose which mug. I had my mug, and he'd look in his mug, and he'd look in my mug, and and we'd both take a nice sip of tea, and it was really kind of a nice kind of moment, because I don't usually get to have those kinds of fun times with kids so much with some of the kids, because they don't remember me from visit to visit. But that was really kind of awesome. It was kind of neat. I'm gonna ask Mia if she wanted to share anything. You're from preschool, so what's your little guy like, or girl?
Right now we're working on like spoons. What
Okay.
a spoon is, and spoon means it's time to eat. Parents are like, no, we don't want that.
Oh, okay.
Okay, like he's never gonna be able to eat that now, so I don't know why we're introducing a spoon.
Right.
But we're slowly understanding like spoon means eating time, and it's pretty interesting. We're like, you want the spoon? And his eyes just light up.
Okay.
Oh, we know what a spoon is. And that was pretty cool moment.
That is pretty good. So he's tube fed, right?
Yes.
Yes. I so want to get your students videotaped with his tube meal before the end of the year.
Yes, we have a
He's-
few routines we want to
Yes,
get on
with
video.
this needs to be teaching thing. This little guy, he's also tube fed, but sort of with a syringe, and it's kind of neat because he's a little bit handsy and stuff. You kind of almost get a little bit nervous, but he's so controlled with his
Yeah.
with it. He does such a great job Everything from like, you know, opening it, sticks his finger in, feel the milk, you know, he's opened the can, this is what it is, right? Pouring it in, he even helps
He helps
depress.
to- yeah.
He hooks up it, does he hook it up?
He makes the
He makes-
motion,
makes
he
the
knows where it
motion.
goes, yeah.
Yeah, he does a lot of the
And the
steps.
cleanup. It's important
Yes.
to remember
Yes.
that cleanup is
Thank
the
you.
end. You don't just get to eat, you have to clean up after.
Yeah.
So,
And this started, I mean, this has been a work in progress
Yes.
for several years. Like
Yeah.
they didn't get to this point like within a week.
you have to see his locker routine.
Oh, I have to see that too.
Yeah, because he arrives
Field
at
trip.
school by bus. He comes to school in a wheelchair, but once he's in the classroom, the wheelchair is put away for the day. So obviously I help him on the ramps, but once he's in the building, you know, he knows his jacket has to come off. We go down the ramp, he has to wheel himself to the next ramp. I undo the lock but leave it still pushed up a little bit. He makes his way to his locker, which is identified with a big letter for his name. And he takes the lock off, puts his things in, takes his lunch kit out, his face cloths, his agenda. Everything goes in, he locks it up, takes himself into the classroom, removes himself from his chair and parks his chair where it's supposed to go, and then takes his agenda and his lunch kits and puts that where it's supposed to be for the day. Will get his chair and go straight to his desk. So,
Can I ask
and
you?
I can totally stand back and not do anything to help him.
Can I ask you, on average, how long does that process take for your student?
To learn,
No, to do
For
now.
him to do?
Right now, the stage is at now.
it would take him 5 minutes.
That's a lot of steps to get done in 5 minutes.
Well, then, you know,
Good.
they say write the steps out, and you think, okay, it was pretty easy.
No, it's not.
No.
So then when you actually write it down, you know, like one little part of the task could have 30 steps to it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's why it's like
we-
5 minutes.
We don't think about it because we automatically do it. And if we forget to give them the instruction for one important little part, they're not going to be able to complete the task. So it is a matter of really slowing everything down, breaking everything down, making note of, oh, okay, maybe next time we can do it this way, it'll be easier.
Yep.
For sure. Taking one step out every time to see what step they do know.
Ask them what's next, see if they know or remember.
I just have one more part, and it's almost related to yours. Where last year, my student went into the school independently. Started off with me meeting them at the front door, but worked on to independent meeting me out of class. And now we're in a different school. We're in a different environment. There's 900 at least more students, and they all come in at the same time. And mom had asked me, you know, what do you think about him starting to become independent? Because, you know, who wants their mom there when they're 14? Who wants their mom there? Fine. Okay, so we stopped as I would come to the side door and meet the student and then go into the school from there. It took him 2 days. And then Friday, what does he do? Surprise me. It's 3 minutes before the bell rings and he walks into class by himself and I'm like, wow, that's awesome. And I was like so proud of the student, and I was like, I wonder if he had any help. So then at the end of the day I asked the mom, did you help him in? She goes, only at the door. I said, because, okay, so our classroom is like literally in the middle of 2 other classrooms. So you have to go one hall to the right, another hall to the right, another door to the right, and then another classroom to the right. And as a typical person going into that school, you won't find it, guaranteed. But he had his cane and went and showed up in class and tapped me on the arm. And I was like,
Awesome.
successful. Yay! Awesome! Wow! Like I was
All
like,
right, moving
yeah,
on.
It's like next check. You know, so it's just these like the little things that we think would take absolutely much longer, and sometimes we rethink it too. Like we think too hard about it,
Yes.
and we just have to let them try a little bit harder to see how far they can go without that assistance. And you know, there's a new movement about pro-tactile, and that's
who knows to say where it's gonna go with congenital, but acquired use it a lot, the acquired population of deafblind. But with congenital deafblind, it still works with them. Like, my student loves to have his independence. He loves to roam those halls free. He loves to be with other students and, you know, be like them. And who else has someone standing beside them all the time? So I step back about a step or two, or I let him start off first and see where he goes. Sometimes he'll stop just at the elevator and go look around for me and go, oh, she's coming, you know. And it's not me going, oh, I'll get there. It's me wanting him to have that independence, to see how much he's learned to that point, to see if he can get to class from that point, to see if he's acknowledged the time frame that we're working on, to see if he's on the right schedule. And he's acknowledged that we have a different schedule bell today, or so on and so forth. No other student would not like no lunch schedules. I'm telling you that right now. They don't work well. But he's acknowledged, you know, he doesn't acknowledge the bell, but I stand up and I go, time to go. And we go. And he knows that that big green banner in that room is his first class.
Right.
Or second class, sorry. And then he knows that, oh, it's lunch after this, so I'm gonna go to my other class and sit there and have my lunch. And I know where my lunch is because I've left it there. And third class, well, that's foods class, that's my favorite class, so I'm just gonna hike off over there now. And all these different things, and like even at lunch, there's another staff working, because that's my break and also my lunchtime. And lo and behold, he just finishes his lunch and disappears, and they're like, where'd he go? And he's sitting on the couch beside me, because he knows where I am.
And you're his person.
I'm his person, and you know what? He doesn't he just kind of goes and sits down and goes, she knows I'm here. And I don't even think to go tell the other staff, because he's just usually with me. And we've got that kind of bond to go with the day. But it's amazing the kind of bond that we don't think we have with them, because they acknowledge where you are and whatever you're doing. But just giving them that little bit of space. So for example, to go to the right, I'm tapping him on the right shoulder. And to go to the left, tap on the left shoulder. And that just gives him that freedom to go that way. And he's acknowledged, yeah, I gotta go to the left, so I'm gonna go that way. You know, and giving him the cane now, because it's not very automatic in school to grab a cane for him. And so we get his cane and he's like, oh, we're going outside the gym, we're going for a walk, you know. And that's what happens with him. So it's really neat to see how they've moved from elementary to high school.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Very cool. Megan, how about you?
It's well past time.
We passed it?
Yeah.
Everyone's got
Nice way of getting out of that.
Nice
job.
Oh my gosh.
I don't think
No,
I'm
I
mad at
love
you.
this. I love hearing all these stories about how things are going, and
Well, how
I know-
often do we all get the chance
Well,
to
that-
get
to
together
network.
share?
And nobody, I did check a few times, nobody else
I
popped
kept
back on.
looking at the
Yeah.
screen, there was nothing there.
Okay.
We need to do this more
Moving
often, I
the
think, because we didn't even get around to
and this is
brainstorming
on
about
Blacks.
your
No,
idea.
we
Okay, so the
didn't.
gal from Powell River, she was on there at first, so.
Yeah,
There was someone in there at one point.
Yeah,
So I don't know if it was.
Technology.
Yeah.
But I don't want to interrupt your stories, but we had some really good conversations in different
Yeah.
areas too. What the BCSD group was thinking is that maybe next year, wouldn't it be interesting for them to kind of do a little presentation of the day in the life of a profoundly deaf
Yeah.
being, you know? And I know, Alana, I don't know if you even got to the point where you were gonna talk about different ideas of simulation.
No, we did not.
Oh.
I like
Megan, you have 2 seconds, and then it's lunch.
But I mean, and this kind of warms my heart, because this is what we wanted, a day where you guys could chat. And we were kind of doing that over there. It almost, if someone else was listening, they might have heard venting, but it
Oh,
wasn't.
there's no
It was
venting
just,
here.
You know, it was just kind
Not
of
in
like.
this group.
We had all praise.
Yeah.
This was
Yeah.
all like warm. This is all warm and fuzzy.
Oh, yeah, we
Well,
had,
it's just
we had some frustrations.
celebrations, I guess, is the way to say it.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, I can actually, because I'm in both groups. I
Oh.
work at BCSD and I'm also
Oh.
an intervener. So we did recognize as a BCSD group that that the presentation was more geared towards kids in mainstream, in large classrooms, and here in classrooms where you're the only deaf, and whereas our situation is very, very different.
It's unique, yeah.
So, I mean, you know, it's not, it's a different set of information.
Yeah, and in the past, BCSD weren't coming, even though we were here in Burnaby. That's how everything's kind of evolved.
Yeah, so it's just, it's good to have that perspective because, you know, like, when we just, it's kind of nice we don't actually, you know, until high school usually have to think about classroom size and the noise level and all of that thing because we have it internally controlled. So, yeah, for me it was more just like, oh, that's an eye-opener.
Yeah.
So,
But you guys don't want to get out in the sun?
I know, Megan, we didn't get all you guys, but we can get you next time too.
Or do you want to?
You can start, or do you want, if you want Sunny to share now?
I'm still kind of getting to know my guy. I'm with a new little guy. I've known him in the school per se, but I'm new working with him this year, and so I'm still kind of learning because he's got. He's a bit different than the rest of your kind of kids. I mean, you know him. You've seen him at the pool. He's a bit more challenging. We have an autism component on top of everything else. So we have, we want to introduce the sensory aspect, but he's very sensory offensive. And there's lots of. I'm finding challenges juggling the strategies to use and when. They want him in his class more, and he's not wanting to be in class more, or there's medical components that are keeping us out of class. So this year for me, I'm still kind of learning our rhythm, and because IEP is coming up soon, so maybe some of this stuff's gonna change up a bit for him. He's a grade 5, but I like hearing how you guys can check in with your students. Like my little guy, he's nonverbal. He's got one adapted sign that he answers for everything. So he's a real challenge to
Don't
try
get
to.
me wrong. Some days are a struggle, and I'm sure you'll agree.
Oh.
Some days are a big struggle because sometimes I'll only get one word for the whole day.
Well, he just does the one sign and it means everything. So you have to really take it into context. What did you ask him? What's going on? What is he processing? Is he answering something that I've asked him now or from
2 days ago,
previous?
What's the sign? Or what's the sign?
It's an adapted sign. It's kind of like he only kind of points a bit into his stomach towards his G-tube. So that means he's ready to eat. He's ready for his flash. It means yes. It means hello. It means goodbye. It means yes. It means no.
So maybe making, I know it's going to be kind of difficult, but maybe making a communication dictionary for him as well.
There is a communication dictionary that shows him or speaks of him doing a bunch of other signs, and I don't know if he's lost those signs. His previous intervener was here. I asked her, and she said no, they really lost a lot of that, so it was all her just modeling all the other signs again. So his communication dictionary
I think they
needs
need
to
to
be
be updated every
updated.
year, of course, but learning those signs, like you're the only one really, essentially beside his parents, that are actually going to identify what he's referring to. And like you said, you don't know what it is, but yeah.
Yes, well, he makes it pretty well known. He's got quite the sense of humor. If he doesn't want to hear me, he's got an FM system and all that. He just pops out his hearing aids, and he'll sit on the ground, and he physically turns his back to you. I mean, his communication is pretty clear when he doesn't want to do something. Just body language, it doesn't take an intervener to read his body language. Yeah.
I'm sorry, I have to go pick up my son.
Yes, no,
Yes.
we're
For the
good.
time.
Yes.
Sorry guys, it's nice to
Yeah,
meet you
good to
all.
meet you and good luck.
Maybe
Also
we'll
with
see each other
Yes,
soon.
absolutely.
Yeah.
We'll see
And
you
with
online.
pulling out hearing aids too, it also could mean if the battery's dead in one,
Yes.
he pulls them out as well because he doesn't want to listen just with one ear. So he pulls them both out. So it's he's either really sick of listening to me, blah, 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 or it's malfunctioning, and his behavior and his action is the same to let me know that it's malfunctioning. And if he really wants to hear something, he'll just kind of grab it to your hand and bring it to his ear. So sometimes you think, oh, something's falling out, but no, really he wants environmental factors kind of changed a bit so he can hear it
That
better.
needs to go in the dictionary.
Yeah, once I can prove that,
I think you've got some communication there, I really do.
yeah, but I'm waiting for it to happen more than once so I can go, hey, this
Start
needs
with
to
it,
be put in.
because it might actually happen again, and then you'll realize it.
Well, when they give me more prep time.
Yeah, good luck.
Good luck on that.
Yeah, I'm like listening to how you adapt things, and I'm like, really, I don't even have time to grab my duotang out of the cabinet because we're on the other side of the school, and my
I don't have time. I have to do it on the fly. I take a bucket full of stuff with me to the class too.
yeah.
So when I'm having downtime, when the student's like, I'm done, I'm literally like doing whatever I have to do. And you're in Surrey. I don't know if you have a vision and hearing itinerant. And a
Yeah,
deafblind
yeah,
list,
yeah,
but,
yeah, yeah. I have them all.
They are a resource. I just love when they say to you, I can make it for you. I'm like, can you take it out of my head? Because that's where it is right now. And I can't just kind of go like this to you. But if you could figure it out, great. Because I don't have time to send that email. But
I don't, yeah, that's the other thing
it's
too,
about
right?
you're the student's only advocate in that class, in that sense, in that being. And like I said, it's taken 6 weeks for me to realize this. I worked with them for a year prior.
Yeah.
It took me 6 weeks to figure out this transition plan didn't start until now. Or it has been
Yeah.
working still, and even though it looked like a happy moment for 6 weeks, we're now at step 1 at a new part of the transition. And you seeing this student from September to now, you have that advocacy for him or her and saying, you know what, we need more prep time together, or I need someone to be able to work with my student while I have 20 minutes or whatever.
Yeah, no,
Pardon?
that won't happen.
I can tell you it won't happen
No,
coming
it
from the
won't.
same school.
Our
Uh-oh.
administration has, yeah, no, our administration has
There is
us
no way.
stretched beyond thin. If our students are ever away, we have booklets of other students within the school to help
Yes.
support, so
Booklets. And you
Booklets.
have to go down the list.
our administrators, we have a high needs school.
No, I understand that. I just,
When we
I'm
ask for
trying to
prep
think of
time,
the,
yeah, I know.
and
And I've
not
been there
so much
for
like prep
years.
time, it's like, but working with that, but in a sense also knowing that, you guys are humans too.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, we get
can't-
Not everybody does.
Not everybody
so-
does,
Yeah.
and it's,
my heart breaks for you because, like, I'm coming from Ontario where I've worked in the school board for 10 years there, and actually I was not an intervener in the school board. I am a trained intervener through George Brown College in Toronto.
Yeah.
But in the school board, my acknowledgement was my signing. And
Ah.
so that's why I was hired for the last 10 years. I was a signing EA. But my boss kept on saying, wow, you're really using intervener-like qualities.
like, hmm.
Okay, let's move on. And then just move on from that. But you are the child's best advocate, and sometimes we just have to make the admin listen.
I know,
And
I spent an hour on Friday after school, and I don't think it really got me anywhere. But
your union,
Okay.
I know we do this whole,
we, are you asking, or is that a statement?
it's both.
Yes, we're union.
No, I know that. But we have to talk to our union, and I know it's difficult, I know.
Our
I'm
union was
there
in the
too.
school almost every month last
Last
year.
year.
And
Our
it has
union can't
gotten
do
us
anything.
nowhere.
Yeah, this actually, I'm kind of glad this kind of came up. This is an interesting situation across the province.
I was just gonna say,
Um,
we really need to start getting,
Well, there should be a separate category, particularly in Surrey School District for interveners, because
we
you
have a
are
lot of
you're the largest district in the province with the
Yeah.
most number of students
Are
with
we all the
deaf
same
blindness.
union?
No.
You're all different locals. A
Yeah.
lot of, probably most of you are QP.
QPs.
If you're from
Yeah,
Abbotsford, you're like the
Teamsters.
steel
There's
workers or
QP or
Teamsters.
Teamsters, and some don't
BCGEU
have.
or some Teamsters. And
Teamsters?
some I know are BCGEU.
Some are,
Toronto
and some
went-
don't have
was
unions
under
at
one
all.
category, so
There's
there
a
were like
couple, there's a
55
couple that aren't
members.
even
Yeah.
unionized.
Yeah.
Sorry, I have to.
Yeah.
That's okay.
Yes,
See you
I know.
later.
Bye.
Bye.
Sorry.
See you. But it's what happens is that it's
Rachel,
intervener is not
yeah.
always recognized as a category. Burnaby School District recognizes interveners as a separate
good one.
category.
So
Surrey
Whitlam
doesn't.
is EA intervener.
EA
but the
intervener, yeah.
EA first.
And so it's that's one of the problems. Like it's a challenge, and it's like when the next negotiating comes up. Like
It's
the
now.
idea is to get the your QP union to back you and say, yeah, that should be a separate category. Just like Braille transcribers are a separate category, signing interpreter, signing EAs, like intervener should be a separate category as well, right? So that's something like to petition your QP local, because you guys are the largest district. It requires additional training in order to be in that position.
Class
And,
doesn't intervene.
In Chilliwack?
Yeah.
Chilliwack has it.
I know I'm involved in our union, and
Yeah.
I've actually brought this up and spoken with them.
Yeah.
Our union for
Yeah.
our district is very opposed to separating and creating
Yeah.
more division
More
between EAs
division.
and more. They fought so long to get under all one umbrella
Right.
that they don't want to break them up, because I think Burnaby, you guys have, what, 14 classifications of EAs or something,
Right.
and they don't want to go that trend.
That
And
would
the
be
district-
actually
And see, the
really
district, I
going
think,
down.
would be supportive of that, because I think
The
Michelle
dis-
Schmidt would want that.
Yeah, but our union doesn't want to go forward and do
Ah.
that, because previous contracts, they fought to
Right.
have them all
Sorry.
one.
Well,
Sorry.
things can always, different people get in there.
We just have new people in, and
Yeah, you're one of them.
I'm one of them, and I'm
You're
trying,
working.
and
Good.
I'm trying to get dirty pay for us, dang it.
Good.
Because the other departments get it, we don't, and we're the ones that deal with the most poop.
Yes.
Yep.
That's
There
what,
you go.
sorry, but
It's
they,
true
they
story,
call it,
true
they,
story.
they call it dirty pay for grounds people who go
Well,
out there
you
and
know,
have
you
to
could
pressure
also
wash dog
do-
poop off pavement.
Pressure
Yeah.
wash.
Pressure wash it.
So they're not actually.
They get gloves, they get pressure washing machines, and they get paid extra to do this. We help
Have to
children
actually,
with their bodily fluids.
yes.
Oh yeah, no tips.
So you might talk to
When it
Burnaby
goes
Schools,
through
or
tips.
Burnaby, the QP district in Burnaby, or even Chilliwack, and just say how they got their category, and just sort of, even just asking how, you know, what was the,
I'm new.
The-
I'm new to the board.
No,
here,
but you might
I
be
could
able-
definitely. I
find
could
out.
definitely look into trying to support it. I mean, are you in the same local as I am?
Yeah.
Okay, so there's mostly custodians in there running the show.
Oh, same as in our
Right.
union.
This was the first year we got that changed.
This is the first year we've got some other departments.
So now
In
there's
higher
EAs
levels.
They're now recognizing EAs in
Yeah.
the local to as a different category than custodians. And I went to one meeting, I was like lost. I'm like,
They're
We
dry
have
and they're
students.
boring. but yeah.
so I couldn't figure out how come it was so driven. So I will definitely let these ladies know, or
Yeah.
however we're trying to communicate with each other about how to try to identify that, or who you can go to, because I mean, whoever your higher up is the one supposed to be helping you, essentially. But
Yeah.
your union rep or whoever that is supposed to be helping you fight for that too.
I was, if we're talking about this job classifications, if you have a job evaluation committee, that would
Yeah.
be.
We don't have that. We
don't
did start a
have
workload
job-
committee, which I was very
Workload committee
strong
sounds
in starting.
Like it's similar.
Yeah, so we have a
'Cause
workload
that's
committee.
where they break down what
But it's a bargaining year, so none of the committees and none of these
That's
people wanna
true,
meet,
that's
right? So
true.
it's, that's the other
And to
part.
Right.
whoever's that
It
we
is the
have,
bargaining year, so.
Burnaby
Right.
has 14 different categories of EA. No, we have straight
Designations.
designations, EA, EA3, and EA3 is for working primarily with children with autism who are violent. So you need to have a lot of training with behavior interventionists, behavior consultant,
ABA.
that
Yeah.
sort of stuff. So there's EA, EA3, and then, the interveners.
Oh, so that's all you have?
Yeah.
Oh,
There's
'cause-
14 different classifications, so like from A to Z, whatever it is.
For
The disability has a classification.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
But within those classifications, there's only 3 categories.
Maybe
Yes.
that's what they were
So-
talking about,
So
cause,
that would be.
Yeah, they're categories.
one,
Yeah.
two,
Yeah, they're not-
cause it was our
Yes.
union higher ups that were the ones that told me that you guys have that many different breakdowns of
Absolutely
classifications that they were
not,
trying to
yeah.
avoid.
There's
Ah-ha.
2 EAs and
identified,
a-
like, so deafblind would be, I think it's G.
Oh, so we
Oh,
have the
okay,
same
yeah,
coding.
yeah.
We have
Oh,
the
yeah,
same
yeah,
coding,
yeah.
classification
So
coding.
those are the classifications
Yeah.
for 14, that's it.
Yeah, but that's
So-
not a union thing.
No,
The
I know that,
classifications,
but this is like,
That's how
there's
you
only
guys break
3,
it down.
EA, EA3, and then intervenor,
Mm.
so, yeah.
What happened to your EA2s? Like, how did it go from 1 to 3?
There was
There was never a
There's
2?
I don't know, I wasn't part of that one.
I'm just,
Oh, that's-
I don't know,
that's
I have no
very-
idea.
I'm just
No
kinda
idea.
curious, cause I'm classified as an EA2 because our 2s are medical EAs, medical components.
So that would be a 3 for us. Or maybe there is 2s.
No.
No, so it'd be 3.
Because if you're working
This,
one-on-one.
We're
Yeah.
I've been around for
Yeah.
too long, so I could tell
Yeah.
you. It's a long time ago, we did have, basically it was EA level 1 and EA level 2.
Yeah.
EA 2 were actually the BCSD, we were the signing EAs.
Okay.
And we didn't have deafblind intervener, that came later, because we didn't, and then the union decided like, well, that's not fair that we have 2 different categories and 2 different pay scales, so everyone became just an EA. And then
Dispersed.
like, well, just the
Maybe
acceptance
that's-
of
yeah.
the criteria for accepting kids changed, so we're getting a lot more kids with
Well, we all are.
you know,
Yeah.
violent behavior issues and things like that. So then the EA3 category was developed, and that's
Is that the same pay scale?
No.
No? Well, maybe that's what they were
So,
referring
and-
to, how they wanted to just negotiate one
Yeah.
pay scale. Maybe that's, because it was before my time. I've been around for
Again,
what,
that's
13
a-
years now, so.
But that's a whole other
Yeah.
Okay.
interview.
I'm also with student services, not necessarily
Yeah.
in the school district. I'm student
Okay, so you're kind of like Rachel's position then.
I guess.
Oh,
Yeah.
interesting. Okay, so you're not
Okay.
working with. This is off, right? This isn't broadcast.
I don't know if it's.
Turn it off. Turn it off.
Well, I asked if I should turn it off. It is broadcasting, but I don't know where the off
And I
button
can
is.
edit it and then.
Well, nobody's on there right now?
I got pulled.